on a nature walk with my wife, sort of becoming our thing. We stopped to take a bit of a break just to gather ourselves before we hit the second part of the trip, the walk. I'm saying trip. And my wife is saying, she said to me, she thinks that I should share just some reflections or takeaways or things that I've learned from my journey being a father, sharing that with maybe a young father or somebody who just found out they're about to be a father, but just sharing insights from my experience in hopes that it might benefit somebody. She said I'm an amazing father and I have value to add. I think the first thing that comes to mind really is the moment you become a father or learn that you're becoming a father, you got to realize that your life is not about you anymore, right? Your purpose has just been expanded and you are responsible for a life. You are now the steward of a soul. You are now tasked and blessed with the opportunity to guide and coach and mold and shape the thoughts, the feelings, the perceptions, the dreams, the aspirations of a soul that will go out into this world and do whatever things their purpose to do. But the way they go about doing that will be influenced by your example. And I remember exactly where I was every moment I learned that I would be a father. And I cried every single time because I realized just how much of a blessing it was, just how much of an honor and a responsibility it was. Personally, I feel like, and this is just me, I feel like my children do way more for me than I do for them. You know, it calls for you to be a much greater version of yourself, the highest version of yourself. And you start to expand and grow as a man. And as you expand as a man, it creates more runway for you to operate as a father. The next thing I would say outside of that is be mindful of the experience that you're creating for your child. Be be intentional and deliberate about the type of experience. Be intentional and deliberate about the type of experience that you want to create for them. If you're not a father yet, my advice to you would be very, very mindful about who you choose to be their mother, because that decision has a tremendous impact on their life. The way they're nurtured, the way they learn, the person that you have to partner with to cultivate them. And there is no decision greater than choosing the person you're going to parent with. And I'm saying a lot and I'm saying a little in saying that, but if you, that's a really important piece. I think the other thing that I would say is understand that, well, I'll say two things. One, your children are not yours. They're not possessions. They're not objects. They're not things for you to use or wield around for whatever your purpose is. They really are gifts, blessings, things that you were gifted with for whatever the purpose is. And you should treat it as such. It's an honor and a privilege. Don't I see dudes out there and they really be hoeing their kids, and it's disheartening. Don't bring a child into this world who didn't ask to be in this world, who didn't have no say in their situation, and hoe your kids. Like, that's some goofy weird shit. You know what I'm saying? And I would say the most important piece of fatherhood is understanding that, and this is something that I remind myself frequently, my daughter is most likely going to marry a man that is me. The example that she has witnessed and experienced, she's 9 times out of 10 going to marry that man. Am I the type of man that I want my daughter to marry? And my son, he's gonna watch my example and he's gonna wanna follow in those footsteps. Am I the type of man that I want my son to become? And I'm gonna be honest with you, the answer to those questions scared me and forced me to wanna grow and be better. And even whatever my ceiling is, I want that to be their floor. Now, I want my daughter's husband to be better than me. I want my son to be better than me. I really and truly care about being a father and the responsibility and the weight of that. I think it's important to keep that top of mind, keep that front and center, and keep your kids the focal point of everything that you do. Not to say that you can't have a life, but when you have children, you owe them a duty. You owe them a responsibility. They didn't choose to be here. You brought them there. And they are sort of your invited guest into this life. And you owe it to them to give them all of the courtesies, all of the hospitality that the greatest of guests in your home would get. But just that in life. I think it's something for you to really wrap your brain around, that I'm holding a life in my hand. And whatever drama, whatever stuff you got going on, my pops used to tell me, you can't help your kids if you dead or in jail. And that statement kept me honest and kept me out of trouble and kept me from doing things that I would probably regret or things that would take me away from my kids, which is also things that I would regret. But yeah, if I had advice for young fathers, new fathers, whatever the case may be, I would tell you, focus on your children, and not just focus on where they are, but focus on their future and how you can not only be present, but participate in that. They need you. Regardless of what anybody thinks, regardless of what they say, regardless of what the mother says, your children need you. And they need the best version of you, the most healthy, the most whole version of you. So if you need to go to therapy, need to talk to somebody, whatever you need to do to get your shit together and to get out your own way so you could be the best you, that gift that you are able to give them being the best you is priceless. And you might not see the ROI on it now, but I'm telling you, what you don't want to do is look up 10, 20 years from now and regret not being present and not participating and not giving your all and your fullness to this beautiful soul that you had a hand in making. Anything that you can think of that's more important than that, I don't know that I'm gonna see eye to eye with you there, but keep your focus on your children, pour into them, impart lessons on them, give them structure, give them discipline, let them know that you love them, kiss them, hold them, because they grow fast. And your influence on their life can't be understated or underemphasized. Again, whether you agree